This is a trailer for the 2023 movie We Have a Ghost. Now, of course, living with a ghost in your house in real life is nowhere near as much fun as this movie makes out. Sometimes for some people in the world it can be quite a scary experience. Now, I should know what it's like because my family and I lived with a ghost in our house from 1998 for 15 years. Fortunately, it wasn't scary, but it wasn't as much fun as the movie. So what it did do was completely and utterly change my life. I went from being a video producer to basically today I'm a house healer and an alternative life coach. As a house healer, I help people come to terms with things that might be happening in their homes or places of work that they're not familiar with, things they don't understand. That often means that we actually work with the higher beings of the conscious cosmos. And people, of course, will consider that to be a spiritual practice. As a life coach, what I do is help people adjust their relationship to their whole reality. I quite often help them adopt a more spiritual outlook on life because that's what they're after. And by doing that, by adopting that spiritual outlook, it absolutely changes everything in the reality of that person. Now, living with a ghost in your house or having a spiritual experience like an NDE very often leads to a spiritual awakening, which is something of a blast into your reality. It can really affect people. And once it does take hold, as you come out of that spiritual experience, that spiritual awakening, what tends to happen is that you see that your intuition plays a far greater role in your entire experience of reality. Take a scene like this. You can really tune in to everything around you if you want to. On this channel, what we do is we focus on practical spirituality. And what that means is that not only do we focus on the being, the meditation, the mindfulness, the understanding and assimilation of concepts about the nature of consciousness and who we really are, all of that stuff, which is great. But we also practice as this practical spirituality, which for me is intuitive dowsing. That's where that comes in. Intuitive dowsing is a really good way to open up your consciousness, to expand your awareness of all that is. And a brilliant way of learning how to do that with the dowsing is, once you've got a little bit of experience with the dowsing rod or the pendulum, is to start to look for the earth energy. Now, you can either go to a sacred site like Avebury or Stonehenge or any of those places, or any, in the States you go to Arizona, the vortex state, fantastic. But you can also do this in your own home, and there are videos on this channel showing you how to do that and the importance of doing that. But what it means on a practical level is that you're actually tuning into the fabric that creates the reality in which you have your living experience as a human being. Earth energy is part of the 0-point field. It's a subtle energy. And if you want to get to know the universe on a completely different level, that's a brilliant place to start, because you also start to learn more about yourself and who you are as a human being and who you are as a spiritual being. Subtle energy, it's referred to as being subtle, but actually some of the effects of tuning into it and finding out more about it can be anything but subtle. Sometimes people are affected by it adversely. Things like ley lines, for example, they're classically part of that 0-point field. Earth energy lines, similar, but weave like a river, part of the 0-point field. And if you want to affect your reality, what's the best place to start? By tuning in to the things that create it. That's what we do on this channel. Learn how to do that and learn how to grow and connect to your higher self by doing that practice. The ancients seem to have worked with subtle energy in their sacred spaces. You can still experience an altered state of consciousness at these sites even today. Same thing can happen working with the subtle energy in your own home. It's just not quite as powerful. Quite frankly, what you can discover about your place in the universe using a simple bent bit of metal or a pendulum puts living with a ghost into a whole new perspective. So if any of that sounds like the sort of stuff that you're into and you'd like to find out more about, click on the subscribe. Join us on this channel. There are hundreds of videos here for you to choose from, dip into, find out about dowsing, house healing, subtle energy, ancient sites. All of it's connected and all of it will help you discover who you really are. I look forward to speaking to you one day. Take care. Hope you enjoy what you find.